today's podcast. We talk about the awkward stories from all the Facebook messages I got this past week. So if you submitted one, stay tuned. Or if you haven't, listen to all the stories. Introverted Intellect, helping you overcome shyness, social anxiety, depression, and utilizing the power of being an introvert.
Welcome to
Introverted Intellect,
a podcast for introverts.
What is going on, guys? It's Johnny Rackset back again with Introverted Intellect. I'm here today looking all not so beautiful as always, of course, with my little mustache going on and my goatee and my pimples all over my face because somehow I had a shot of testosterone that just destroyed my face, and I have not cut my hair because I've been sick. I got a sweater on because I'm cold, because the fall weather is like the worst weather for human race ever. I said that awkwardly. What I'm trying to say is I don't like the fall. I don't like fall because, first of all, the fall back thingy with the hour going back, that's just ridiculous. Why would we need to do that? You know, we're already used to an hour being ahead. Now we got to fall back. I mean, I get an extra hour of sleep perhaps, but it's still not, you know, it doesn't make sense to me because we always got to remind ourselves when we have to push the hour forward or pull the hour back. Like, can we not just stick to one thing? And I think there was something on the ballot, the voting ballot, that said that we will take that away, which would, if I voted, I wish I would have, if I voted, I would have voted totally for taking it away. All right. Anyways, sorry. I'm just ranting now because I'm just kind of annoyed about the fall weather. It's literally about to get dark in about half an hour, and I just don't like that. I mean, 5 p.m. is not a time to get dark. 6 or 7 or 8. Not 5 p.m. Come on now. Keep the sun out for me, please. Anyways, today is a little special again because more people have submitted their awkward stories. And this time I've made the ad go worldwide. So there's no 2 or 3 people from the US. This is everybody worldwide. Some of you guys have this kind of language barrier where you guys can't really articulate stuff in English very well, so I'm going to try to interpret it the best I can, and some of you guys' names I might butcher, so please forgive me for not entirely saying your name correctly. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly. We'll see. First off, I want to start off with Shalia, I think. Shalia. I want to say first names. I'm not going to out you guys out. I'm not going to out you guys if you guys don't want to be your last name to be shared. So I'm just say my first name. Shalia shared with me. All right. So this kind of really bad, but I just wanted to talk about this. So we're going to start off a little bit more serious, and then we'll get to more of the funny stuff, or as we go along. She said, I was on Facebook and there was a beautiful family on there, and I didn't read it. So she didn't read the caption. I said, what a wonderful family. I hope that you had a wonderful time with your little girl. The next day, a friend of mine asked me if I really knew what I was saying because I had taken some pills for my headache, and I didn't know, I didn't know what I was reading, she was saying. She said, oh my God, the baby was dead. And I sat and cried for hours. Then she read everything from that post. So this isn't an awkward post. I started off kind of hype, kind of happy, hype, but I wanted to share this because all awkward moments doesn't have to be particularly times of, like, I think awkward moments can be times of humor. Like, a lot of times you learn from them out of humor. But these situations, we learn and it just sticks with us, and we realize that what we done wasn't what we should have done. For instance, when I was on Facebook once, somebody looked like they were hitting on my girlfriend, but it happened to be an older cousin of my girlfriend's, right? And I did he commented on a photo asking for her number and stuff, and I was just like, I was kind of smirk, like I was just kind of I replied to him saying like, hey, if I give you something like, oh, if I get your number, then you give me, I forget what I said. It was really snarky, it's kind of smart aleck kind of way, trying to make fun of him, in a way, because he looks like he is a guy that, like, because he had like a sports car on his page, so he thought he was like super cool apparently. But after the fact, my girlfriend ended up deleting my comment as to not make me look bad, and deleted his comment because he actually had a mental illness. He wasn't all there. His brain wasn't fully developed and whatnot, and I felt so bad. And that's some awkward stuff. If somebody reads that somebody that knows me and that guy, or just knows that guy and not me, it's just really awkward all around. That where it's awkward, but it's not a funny awkward. It's a learning experience awkward, right? That really sticks with you. But I think what we can learn from all this is that no matter what the awkward situation is, we still learn from it. Next up, this guy, Seldon, he said he cried for a crush and I shouldn't have done that. And I said, so some of these stories aren't necessarily awkward per se. They're just kind of stories that people wanted to tell me. I'm just going to tell them anyways because you guys took the time to express it. So, hey, Sheldon, you cried for a crush. I have too. I think a lot of us have, like we want something so bad that we can't have it, so we cry for it. Yes. Sorry, oh my God. I think I'm so self-conscious about myself. Like everything I'm saying right now, it's just kind of like, oh, am I saying this right? Or am I doing things right? Sometimes you just got to own yourself. You just got to own who you are and just go with it. As awkward as it can be, as awkward as you may think you sound. Next up, we have okay, let me see here. No, not this guy said no, not at this time. But then he said, oh, okay. So he said no, but he still told me anyways. So, Esther, thank you for sharing. I don't even know if you want your stuff up. Oh God. Well, it's your first name. I'm just gonna. I just started. Whatever. So, she said, well, one of the many awkward situations I've been in was not understanding a question fully that required me to expound on my answer. So I answered with a yes, and the other person expected me to go on. And there's awkward silence for like a minute. So yeah, haha. This is perfect. This is like something this is the reason why I started this podcast. It's because situations like this where we don't necessarily listen and we make situations awkward for ourselves because we kind of ask for that situation where we don't expound on an answer that was obviously asking for something more and we're not listening right. I actually previous couple podcasts ago, I talked about how I was at work and I didn't understand what the guy was talking about and saying. I didn't ask questions. All I said was no. And then they asked me a follow-up question. I'm like, no. And I still didn't understand what they were saying. So things got really messy. I started sweating. My pits were watery. I literally felt like a fire hose, like spewing out water, sweat everywhere, sweat down here, sweat on my pits, sweat on my balls, sweating everywhere. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. But I got through it, and now I'm really good I'm a good worker, I guess, in my own opinion, of course. Introverts the best workers there could possibly be. Some people didn't want to tell me, so this guy says private story, not going to tell you. I don't think he realized this was an ad. This was an ad, dude. You don't have to respond to ads. As a matter of fact, I recommend you don't. You try to. I mean, for everybody, like I'm really asking a lot when I ask you guys for awkward stories from you guys, and I'm really thankful that you do. But for the most part, I don't care if you don't. You don't have to respond. As a matter of fact, don't if you don't want to, please. But those that you did, kudos to you. You guys have funny stories. This guy just told me that Kwong, I think his name is. He says he's a medical student. He has 7 years to graduate. Now he's a final year student, and he said that he had a lot of experiences. So bad and young and crazy, very bad, crazy, and a lot of sad and happy times for these bad years. Yeah, medical school must be hard. No doubt. A long schooling, you're young, you're crazy, you don't know what's going on in life sometimes. You're still not out in the world yet because you're still studying so much. Well, you're going to have a lot of things go on. And Kwong, all the best of luck to you, bro. Like, keep at it. Let's see. I don't like any stories. Okay, I don't know why I followed up with that one. Oh, you know, I ask for awkward stories, and some people like to tell me stories that are really sad. Like this one hits me hard because I didn't date for 7 years for a while because of this particular issue. This guy had his girlfriend betray his trust. Not awkward per se, but definitely a learning experience. But that, okay, so this is by Majid. Okay, sorry if I butchered your name. I want to say something. I want to say this, that no matter how much betrayal you have in your life, for all you guys, all introverts out there who talk about how they didn't want, they wish they didn't have trusted somebody because they ended up betraying. Well, nobody wakes up wanting to betray you, okay? People have these emotions, and people are often swayed by emotions often. More so, some more than others. What makes you mature is that you're grounded on values and who you are as a person, and not be swayed by these little things that in the world that like kind of push you. Like maybe this guy betrayed his trust, as in she cheated on him, right? Well, she's in. So okay, so because she cheated, some people cheat because first of all, they're you gotta see this, like they're immature. They don't have the emotion. They don't have the mindset to stay loyal to you. They don't have that respect enough for you. They're thinking about only themselves. Like, how do I feel now? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? Or they're not happy with you, and they're not expressing it to you enough. So instead, they'll go behind your back as to not try to hurt you. And instead, they end up messing things up even more so. So in this particular instance, anybody who cheats on you, and we can also expand on this, obviously, of course. I'm not a relationship expert, but given how I've had a lot of girlfriends in the past, aside from the 7-year hiatus, was that cheating, especially coming from where I am too, having that I wanted to cheat a lot when I was in high school. Really bad kid back in the day. Please, I'm just being vulnerable here. This is just reality. I was not mature. Cheating comes through the root of it is really just not knowing what, you're not thinking about the other person. A mixture of things, not thinking about the other person, not having a good foundation of who you are, and just leaning on to your emotions rather than the logic of like, wow, what would happen if I did do this? You're thinking you're thinking physically, you're thinking emotionally, you're not thinking with the right mindset a lot of times, and you don't have a good foundation. I am going on too far about this, so let's move on. This guy said, maybe I'll talk about relationships another time. Actually, we do want to, with a friend of mine. He's been in a relationship for a while, so I'd like to talk to him about it. So aside from that, let's see here. This guy said, I cannot say this name. Benzurok. Okay, Benzurok. I don't know if that's how you say your name. I'm sorry, but you said my previous job was selling sweets and bread in a pastry. My boss was too kind and cool, though I was low paid. Yes. He said he found a better job. Kudos to you. That's the thing about cool bosses. Like, you have a cool boss, you work hard, but you don't get paid. You don't get what you want out of it. That's up to you, really. I think that is your own. I think he learned this too. Hopefully, that's kind of your own decision to make. Like, you have a cool boss. Your boss can't give you a raise as much as you would like. Nobody can have everything that they want. So, sometimes you got to make the choice to move on, even though if they're the coolest boss ever. Actually, yeah. Oh, great. I hate it when I don't figure out a common subject with a new friend that told me, people I live with are in very different angles. Okay, I get it. Yes. All right. It is very hard to talk about the same things with people that you don't quite gel with, right? I have a book coming out, talks about how to connect with people. And I think overall the gist of it is it's best to try to connect as much as you can on their personal level, with people, but if you cannot find like something to talk about per se, well, you're not going to connect with everybody. But there is a sense that you can at least connect to the extent that, hey, you and I are human beings, you and I, and just be vulnerable. You can be vulnerable about things. I often think that you're not connecting because you don't have a common subject because you're not looking enough for the vulnerable. You're not being vulnerable enough. You're only trying to do surface level communications, and you can only go so far with that. Like my girlfriend and I have nothing in common at all whatsoever. But when we talk about deeper things, about people, about relationships, about how we want to raise kids, or how would we play out certain things in our lives, what we value, that's when things get a little deeper and a little more fun in the discussion. But when we talk about like, I like Marvel movies, I like movies in general, and she doesn't, well, that can only go so far, right? All right. Next one is, this one is by, I cannot say her name at all. Buchra? Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm so sorry. She says, no, not this time. Well, this is really awkward. I'm pretty sure she's okay with me sharing this. My cousin entered the bathroom where I was fully naked. Oh. I'll leave that at that. That is awkward. That is awkward. Some people... this guy just said he has a lot of dark skeletons. Well, I think don't we all? I know it sucks, but that's just reality. Dark skeletons in our closets. I definitely do. And well, we can only move forward, right? We can only move forward. Really, that's all we can do. I'm an introvert. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean you're awkward, but I'm not confident about my work. I think it make me really funny whenever I tell somebody something to other. Okay. I don't know why. Okay, I'm just gonna move on from that one. Oh, this one's funny. So this one's from Rebecca. Rebecca says, so my most awkward situation occurred when my mom asked me to look for my phone so we can leave my aunt's house, and I started looking for my phone. Like, where's my phone? And she was the entire time she was looking for her phone. She was using her phone's flashlight, and everybody saw. That was great. That was great. I love that. That is funny. That is awkward. That is the definition of a human, like a flaw, like just a funny flaw of human, whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's been a long day. I've been working all day. This one says, sometimes I try to tell something, but the situation goes opposite. So she tries to tell somebody something, but people don't understand, and they ended up doing the opposite thing, and the situation becomes worse. Pariah. I think, yes, you are totally right. Things happen differently from what you've said. I think a lot of times it stems from like rebellion from some people. Like, people just don't want to listen to you because they don't respect you or something. That's just on them. And you can only say so much. Some people, I have a friend who, you tell him something, it goes through one ear and out the other. Literally, like, well, I mean, not literally, but still, figuratively, it does that. And he literally cannot register what you said to him. He will literally do the opposite of what you told him because he has a learning disability, where his auditorial process is like, I heard you, but I didn't register it right, so I'm gonna dismiss it. It is like so frustrating to so many people, and he'll make the same mistakes over and over again because he did not take the time to really process what you said. Excuse me, still sick. Drinking water. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, and it is totally frustrating. My advice to you is to really sit down with that person, whoever it is that's having this, making situations awkward. I mean, in weird and frustrating because they didn't listen to you. Just sit down and talk with them. Just be like, yo, this is important to me. I know you don't respect me or you're not listening to me, but I need it done. And yada, yada, yada. You should be able to connect with them in that circumstance by just the sheer one-on-one communication. This guy says, Um, Most awkward. I don't know a lot of awkward situations I've been in. Every time I talk to people, I go through an awkward tunnel. That's like I don't know how to react when they're not. Sometimes I listen to people because I don't want to hurt them, even if I don't want to listen to their monotonous stories. I just say, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, okay." And then when I do that, I end up creating awkward states. If I say nothing is awkward too. If I tell them that I don't want to listen to their stories, it will land as an awkward situation too. There's no specific story about it. I'm a misfit alien. Send me back to my planet. This is from Melinda. Okay. Melinda, thank you so much for sharing this. It is very difficult to talk to people as a awkward guy, or as an introvert. I totally get it. Totally get it. Matter of fact, I told this story so many times on my podcast about how I used to be so awkward with people. I would like listen to what they're saying. I would not know how to respond. I would start sweating and I would have to force that. I'm really thinking really hard of what to say. But my advice to you, one thing is that you got to come back to the reason. You got to come back to this very reason. Why is that you don't like people? It's obvious right here from what I'm reading is that you just don't like the conversation. But that comes back down to why you don't like people. Because people, if you love people, if you like people, if you enjoy being around people, you're going to enjoy conversations. You're going to enjoy the process of talking to other people. And that's what you got to come back to. You got to come back to how you see yourself and how you see other people. And once you connect that, you can start to have better conversations with people, right? And the better conversations, the less awkward situations you'll be in. So I have a lot of blog posts about this and how you could do better. But my main advice is to come back to reality of who you are and why you don't like people. Then try to work with that. Ultimately, what you're going to get is like this. If you start to say, okay, I need people. All right, fine. Then you got to go out and practice. You gotta put yourself in the mindset. When I go to work, I'm expecting to talk to people. I'm expecting to be like, this is my job now. Even though I sit down usually and do nothing, like I'm not do nothing, but code all day and like not talk to people. Well, I'm still gonna talk to people. I'm still going to appreciate and expect to talk to people. It makes my job easier for sure. People are nicer when I can build rapport with them and build a connection, relationship with them. It's easier, communication is easier and things just get better and things get done quicker because, people can see that you care about them, you appreciate them, So overall, it is hard. It is difficult. It is so hard, but it took me a couple years to actually really hone in the reality that it took me a moment to realize I needed to change, and it took me a couple years to keep on pushing myself each and every day to talk to people. So I encourage you, Milan, to try your best to and even though it's such a hard it's just so hard for you, if you don't try, it's just going to get worse for you. You'll be an old person and never have talked to a lot of people in your life. I recommend, if you really want to start practicing your communication with people, others, you first start with people closest to you already, and also know that people are a lot more forgiving than you realize when you talk to people. You might say awkward things to you, but it might not be awkward to them because they are awkward too. No one is perfect, Milan, so you got this. And if you need more help, go ahead and message me back. Actually, any of you guys can message me about this. The most awkward situation in my life is a blind date arranged by my family. Sunaya, thank you very much. Sounds very awkward actually. I bet you Tinder dates get awkward all the time. They're not blind dates per se, but you can't go on a date with somebody you haven't even seen, like their photos. You go and talk to them, be like, yo, what's up? I guess my parents hooked me up with you. Never seen a photo of you or anything. I guess, I don't know, are we supposed to get married right now? That would be crazy. I mean, dates in itself are awkward, but you've never seen the person and it's set up for you. That's really awkward. But thank you for sharing that. This guy, most awkward situation is expressing my feeling to girls and even interacting with them. And I tried, but I always failed. There's nothing I learned. That there just need help. I've learned. Okay, so you just need help in realizing, or you just need help in trying to express your feelings to girls in interacting with them. Okay, so my best advice for you, and I think I told you this already here, Nyanzi, is that it is going to be hard to talk, especially with your opposite, our opposite counterparts, from male to female, female to male. I think that for you, as with everybody else, this is cliche to say, but being yourself is the one and only thing. If girls don't like you for who you are, it's not worth it. Same with guys. It's across all relationships. If you're being yourself and they don't like you, you can't do anything about that. And if you want to express your feelings to them, well, I would just go ahead and do it. I would do it. I mean, even email is fine. I wouldn't do like text, or maybe text if you want to. But it's just, in the end, is it important for you? Do you want a girlfriend? Like, I think if you want a girlfriend, here's the deal with relationships and like wanting a girlfriend, boyfriend. It usually comes when you don't want it. It usually comes around when you just at least expect it. I think somehow females and males, they kind of see that you don't need one, so they'll want you more because of that. So it's kind of crazy thing to experience, because that's what happened to me. But overall, that's a big part of it, is just be yourself. Know that the time will come, and all of a sudden it will come. And that's that. There's a lot of fish in the sea. Nyanzi. Getting better at this. Oh, actually, I probably butchered it. Some people start asking me about Shruti. You asked me, how do I get started and what made you better before my story. Well, you can listen to my podcast. I've told you there too through messaging. We're almost done here, guys. Thank you guys so much. This person asked me for techniques. Well, I have that too coming up. More techniques every Thursday. Technique Thursday. Okay, and lastly, of course, actually, this person asked me if this will be featured. Of course, I'll feature this. Obviously, it is funny because I was responding it a lot. I was an introvert back then. I was class of 7-8. I don't know what that means, if I recall correctly. You were class of something. Maybe 2007 and 2008. Okay. On one fine day. It's great. You're starting off with the story. This is great. On one fine day. Not like any other day. Okay. I was cycling around my home. So I saw some girls playing badminton on the roads. But I didn't stop there. I was just passing by, and suddenly I saw a girl fall on me. I guess it was intentional. I guess it was intentional. You'll get to know after reading the whole story. Okay. I asked her if she injured herself. Did she injure herself? She replied in the negative, and she probably said no. And I saw her friend smiling, pulling her legs. I don't know what that means. I came home afterwards. The day after tomorrow, I guess 2 days later, she proposed in front of me, like 13 to 14 girls, while I was cycling again. I never faced this much awkwardness in my life. She proposed to me and ran away while her friends were clapping behind her. That's funny. I like that because it's like, 13 to 14 girls messing around with this kid who's just riding around on his bike. Like, that's hilarious. I just think that's like so funny, because I pictured this happening myself. Like, oh man, there's a bunch of girls playing badminton. I'm just gonna mind my own business and ride my bike past them, and then boom, something happens. What was that? Girl fell on me. Okay, all right, weird. Okay, I'm gonna keep cycling. Are you okay? You hurt? No. Okay, blah. See ya. 2 days later, come around again. She proposes. Basically, she's making fun of you and the rest of her girls. I honestly think, Shahab, that those girls, they thought you were cute. And so I'm just going to take that back and say, hey, that girl liked you. And if she proposed to you, well, I would still be running away. I'll be biking real fast away, because I'm like, no, I'm not getting married today. Not today. Not getting married. Anyways, thank you guys so much for your, okay, sorry, losing my thought. Thank you guys so incredibly much for your stories. They were funny. They were great. Some of you guys asked me about who I was. Some of you guys told me stories. Some of you guys told me more in the stories that weren't necessarily that funny that I intended, but it's still a learning experience. And overall, I'm really happy that I made this ad worldwide to ask for you guys the stories. And I hope that you guys continue to have this conversation with me. I hope that you guys continue to have stories for me as we go along. To be honest, this is kind of a new podcast, okay? And once again, for those who don't know, this podcast is about you helping overcome depression, your insecurities, your social awkwardness, and then just embracing your introvertedness, okay? The thing is, the reason why I started is because I was a depressed, awkward, socially inept kid back in high school, middle school, elementary school, before I was born, and definitely in college. And when I realized that I was not socially capable of talking to people, I wasn't able to do. I just felt like I had this disease. I felt like it was disease. I didn't want to be an introvert. I want to be an extrovert. I want to talk to all the people that come around me. I want to be perfect conversation. But I realized that was not going to be the case. I'm not crying. There's something in my throat. All I want to say is this: life is hard. There's going to be a lot of awkward situations. We are not like the people on TV. The TV is fabricated. There's quotes, there's scripts, there's blah, 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 blah. It's perfected, okay? There's editing involved, okay? This life is not edited. Life is not edited. Instagram is edited. Snapchat, edited. Twitter, thought overly about for long periods of time, other than like some people who just tweet stuff without thinking. All I'm saying is this: because we are in the age of technology, we can't embrace awkward stories the way they should be embraced, with full and open arms, and to learn about them, to learn how to deal with them, okay? With that said, I don't want to strain on, but I thank you guys so much. Continue, for those of you guys who message me, continue to keep giving me awkward stories, and I'll feature them. I definitely will. And if it's not now, then it'll be later. And if you really want me to feature it, then I'll put you guys on the front. I mean the beginning, right? Okay. Other than that, I wish you guys a very happy week. Yes, happy week, joyful, happy, wonderful, awesome week. And with that said, this is Johnny Raxa with the Introverted Intellect, and I'm out. Peace.
We are what you make